Right now, Donald Trump is facing multiple legal battles in different states, and some of these legal battles are to determine whether or not to pull Trump's name off the 2024 ballot for the upcoming presidential election. Now, of course, this could be done if Donald Trump did in fact lead and incite an insurrection on the Capitol on January 6th. This clip that I'm about to show you is from the trial in Colorado where they're trying to do just that. Take Donald Trump's name off of the ballot, and Trump's lawyer is questioning Eric Swalwell. If you're not familiar with Eric Swalwell, he's a Democratic politician and a representative from California who has led an ongoing fight against Donald Trump and has really pushed to have these legal battles filed against Trump. I wanted to give you a little insight into this man and his thoughts on Donald Trump, so I went right to the best source I could, his own personal government website. These are the words he himself lists as his thoughts on this, so let's read it. After years of avoiding accountability, Donald Trump is being brought to justice. As a criminal defendant, Trump should be treated no better or worse than any other person accused of crimes. I agree with at least half that statement. While he is entitled to his day in court, the indictment makes a compelling case that the former president lied to, incited, and aimed a violent mob at the Capitol to overturn an election he lost. Wow, pretty strong statement here, eh? Well, watch this man get reduced to oblivion by Donald Trump's lawyers in the Colorado case. There are many great clips from this case, but I'm just going to show you one of them. Check it out.
Earlier today, counsel showed you some tweets by President Trump. You remember that?
I do.
Did counsel pick which tweets they were going to show you, or did you discuss with them which tweets you wanted to testify about?
Those are my counsel.
Do you remember discussing this one from 2:24 p.m.?
Yes, I do.
And you remember discussing the second tweet at 6:01 from 6:01 p.m.?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Now let's look at the two that counsel decided to skip that were right in between those two. Okay? Let's look first at the tweet from 15 minutes after the first one you discussed at 2:24 p.m. Page 83, second tweet on the page.
I see it.
Okay? And at 2:38 p.m., 15 minutes or so after the tweet about Vice President Pence, you see that President Trump wrote, "Please support our Capitol Police and law enforcement. They are truly on the side of our country. Stay peaceful." Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
Do you remember reading that on January 6th?
I do.
Okay. What did you understand that tweet to mean?
That we needed 10 exits before he sent it, before the mob had come. But he, I imagine, had seen the violence committed against the officers and believed that he had the power, because he sent them there to stop them from abusing the officers.
So whether he had the power or not, certainly he's telling people to support our Capitol Police and law enforcement and stay peaceful, right?
In that tweet, yes.
Yeah. And he told them that in his speech, right? He told them to proceed peaceably and patriotically to the Capitol, right?
You have to play that for me. I don't.
Okay, well, the judges heard it, so I'm not going to take the time to replay that now. Let's look at the next tweet that he sent at 3:13 p.m. If you put that up, please. You see that tweet? He says, "I'm asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful. No violence!" Exclamation mark. Remember, we are the party of law and order. Respect the law and our great men and women in blue. Thank you! Exclamation mark. You see that?
I do, sir. Yes.
Okay. Do you remember reading that on January 6th?
I do. Yes.
Okay. What did you understand that to mean on January 6th, sir?
That a lot of violence had taken place. At that time, I was, as I said, probably just arriving with a gas mask in my hand to the evacuation room, and the president is asking the violent rioters to stop attacking the police.
The president is asking people to stop attacking and be peaceful, right?
In these tweets, yes.
In those tweets. And we looked at a short video of about 1 minute where he asked people to do exactly the same thing, right? To be peaceful.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah. And that came somewhere in the 3 o'clock hour, so presumably around or slightly after that 3:13 p.m. tweet, right?
That's about right, yes.
Yeah.
Do you see the look on that judge's face? she should throw out this case immediately, right now. She should tell counsel, I'm sorry, this is over. Donald Trump is not going to be removed off the ballot. This is ridiculous. We've clearly seen here evidence, pure factual evidence from that moment coming from Donald Trump himself. Do not be violent. Stay peaceful. Do not attack guards. Do not be violent in the Capitol. This is not a man who is leading an insurrection. This is not a man who is inciting violence. They told you he's inciting the violence. No, he's not. Even in his own speech where he said, okay, we're going to march towards the Capitol, he said, do it peacefully. The so-called January 6th committee had unlimited resources and spent millions in taxpayer dollars over years of investigation on this very topic, and they found nothing. And now they are relitigating this same nonsense in courtrooms across our country, and you can see how absolutely foolish they look. All of a sudden, Eric Swalwell doesn't look like the big dog in court, does he? You remember that statement he made on his own personal government website? Look at his responses. Yes, Trump said peaceful. Yes, although he did try to turn it around. So, well, I thought, maybe after he incited this that he saw. Obviously, he knows that Trump did not incite this violence, that Trump said remain peaceful. So why then do these politicians make these statements and then tell the American people something is true when it's factually false? Because this is what slimy politicians do. Because they don't care about you. They care about power. And right now in the United States of America, we are facing an unprecedented situation where the political party that is in power is actively going at the leading candidate from the opposite political party to eliminate that person from being able to even be put on ballots. They have nothing and they know it. And I'm sorry to say this to any liberals who are watching, but you have once again been lied to and duped. Again. Aren't you sick and tired of this? You remember the Russiagate, that thing that went on for years? They were investigating Trump with the fake dossiers and the Clinton Foundation funding all this stuff. After those years, what did they find? Nothing. They lied to you and they duped you. And the media did too, and you bought into it. Hook, line, and sinker. It was all made up nonsense and garbage. And you remember how they lied to you about the Hunter Biden laptop thing and their connections with foreign business entities? They duped you again on that one. They actually used government resources to compile a list of people to say that this was Russian disinformation. They looked you straight in the face because they know that you just buy into anything that they say to you. They told you this, and then when you went to the water cooler at your job, you repeated their garbage. And then guess what you found out? You found out eventually, like a year later, that it was a bunch of nonsense. And they did it here again. January 6th riled you up. Oh, look at this. He actually led an insurrection. He led this violent mob. He incited them. Oh, see, this was Trump who did this. Well, actually, no, it wasn't. Remember that January 6th committee who spent millions of your dollars, taxpayer money, unlimited resources, years of investigation? They found nothing on Trump. And now they're litigating this and they're finding nothing and they look foolish. They lied to you again. These people are criminal. How long, if you are on the side where you agree with this, you think all this Russian stuff is true, you buy the fact that the Biden family hasn't been involved in any of these foreign business dealings and the laptop was fake and all this other stuff, and that Trump incited. If you've been buying into all this, at what point do you actually wake up and go, wow, these people are disgusting. They're terrible. They really have actually done this because they obviously hate this man. Now, I get it. If you don't agree with Trump's political views or his conservatism or his ideologicals, I get that. Like, I can understand that. We live in the United States of America. We could have differing opinions and you could vote for whoever you want. But to sit here and to look at your own party who tried to convince you of all of these false things, meanwhile, telling you that it's the other side that's pushing the misinformation. And they looked you straight in the face and they said it. How long do you ride with this party before you go, at minimum, before you start voting independent? I'm not saying you got to vote for Trump or vote conservative, but at minimum, like, I'm done with these people. This is ridiculous. These people are a joke. They're a joke. And this was just one little clip from this court hearing. There are many others where it's just as bad. I mean, they're ripping this case apart. Now, can you imagine after hearing that little clip that you heard, if this court comes out and says, you know what? Yes, Donald Trump absolutely incited and led that mob, that violent attack on the Capitol, insurrection. Absolutely, he needs to be taken. Could you imagine if they come up with that decision? I mean, those two tweets alone obliterate that decision. Like I said, this lady, she needs to throw out this case immediately. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Again, please put your comments below. I might even respond to a few of you. Love to hear it from both sides. All right. I hope you enjoyed this one. I'll catch you on the next one.